It really looks and feels like a movie. Is it exciting to be part of a project that is really sort of that grandiose of scope? I mean, I think a lot of people have heard this started out as a movie.
Yeah.
And then the thinking was that it would make a really great TV show. Dennis, for you, was that part of the reason that you wanted to join on? I mean, obviously it's great material.
Yeah, of course. You know, it was the team that was involved, and I heard that Michael was circling this as well. You know, it makes it great, and you need a good nemesis.
And it seems there is a rural aspect to the show too, because I think, you know, people first turn on the pilot, we see you riding a horse and a cowboy hat. I was like, I had to check. I'm like, wait, am I watching
ranch.
the right?
That was my ranch. It is probably about where the Bellagio was, don't you think?
Right, yeah, about, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think New York.
You know, Ralph Lamb was not only the sheriff of Las Vegas, but he was a fourth generation rancher, and that's really what he represents is, you know, the locals who had been there for all this time. And then you had these notorious figures coming in from the outside and kind of taking over Las Vegas. You know, it's about the building of Las Vegas. That's the overarching story that's here.
How are they going to uphold that aesthetic? Because I mean, even just looking at the vintage shots of the strip, it's pretty amazing. I mean, you have some talented people working.
Well,
on the show.
we would have shot in Las Vegas, but Las Vegas doesn't look like Las Vegas in 1960
exactly.
anymore. So
it's
Fremont
easier to do
Street's
it
really
elsewhere.
changed.
So it's you know, kudos to the creative team, because, you know, Kathy Conrad has just brought together some incredible people, and Arthur Sarkeesian. They've brought this great creative team together to recreate Vegas in '60. So.
Yeah. How nasty are things going to get between the two of you, and is that fun to play off of each other?
Well, I think the boundaries are gray. There's a lot of gray areas that we're going to get into. It's not just going to be like bad guy, good guy, or whatever, because, you know, face it, that's people's lives. There's a lot of gray areas there, and you know, kind of crossing over and helping each other out sometimes, and being at odds at others. So we'll see.
I'm just curious what the experience has been like for you with the cancellation of Terra Nova, which I think was gut-wrenching to a lot of people that had high hopes for that show. And how did you decide that this was the right next step?
You know, I'd always had an eye on this project. I'd heard that Dennis Quaid was coming back to television, and I'd always been a big admirer of his, and I thought, wow, that's going to be an interesting project. And I knew that it was based on a real-life character, a real-life person. And then I saw it sort of start to attract talent like, you know, Michael and Carrie Ann, and I had an eye on it, not necessarily because I thought I'd be a part of it at that point, just because it, you know, it was eye-catching. It was appearing in all the industry trade magazines and websites, and I thought, wow, that's going to be really something. And so when I suddenly became available, and they approached me, you know, it was a no-brainer. I said, sign me up.
And Carrie, what can you tell us about what you play?
I play a woman who grew up in Las Vegas on a ranch next to their ranch, and grew up with them, grew up living that life and choosing to go away to be educated and coming back and really fighting for the Las Vegas that she remembers and loves in her heart.
Might there be a romantic connection between your characters?
I think there's something going on between Ralph, Catherine, and maybe Jack, and maybe Jack has had to watch it from a distance, and maybe there are things that haven't been said.
He makes a couple of nice comments about me in the second episode.
Yeah. Kind of surprisingly, you go, oh, what's going on there?
Yeah.
You were really the only female series regular. I mean, this is really a boys' set.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like that when you were shooting the pilot?
You know, I'm so used to that. I've always sort of been the woman with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And I've never, it's an easy place for me to live.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with all of it.
Yeah.
You know, they're all so nice and lovely and
look good riding horses.
yes.
Yeah.